History is best learned visually. Facts alone don't always make an impact. It's hard to imagine life centuries ago until photography came along. These 30 powerful images reveal the hidden side of the past. Some show moments you've heard of but never seen. Others seem almost too strange to be true. Either way, history will never look the same. Welcome and enjoy the journey. Nikola Tesla sits calmly under crackling arcs of electricity, working on his notes. This early 1900s photo from Colorado Springs shows him testing a high-voltage transformer. His inventions powered the second wave of the Industrial Revolution. A Catholic woman and her Protestant husband couldn't be buried side by side, so she chose a spot across the cemetery wall, as close as she could be. They'd spent 38 years together. A massive cross-section of the Mark Twain tree, 18 feet in diameter. This giant sequoia was cut down in California and put on display to wow the crowds. A man stands beside sugarcane plants on Maui, dwarfed by their towering height. Photo by Gilbert Grosvenor, founder of National Geographic. A haunting image of a KKK initiation ceremony in 1946. It captures the open spread of racism and terror in post-war America. In the 1800s, taking a photo required minutes of stillness. For fidgety children, hidden mothers held them in place, covered in cloth or disguised as chairs. At the 1958 Brussels World Expo, African people were kept in cages as part of a human zoo. Crowds tossed them food. These displays, common in Europe into the 20th century, treated people like animals. A mugshot of Vladimir Lenin after his 1895 arrest by the Russian Empire. One of history's most radical revolutionaries in a plane booking photo. Joseph Stalin, photographed by police in 1911. Already a known agitator, this image shows him years before rising to power. In a bizarre wartime test, a machine gun was mounted on an elephant. It was never practical, but unforgettable. A rare image of Japanese women trained as snipers in the 1930s. Before clowns became playful entertainers, early hospital clowns looked unsettling. Bulletproof vests were once tested on real people. Men were shot at point-blank range to prove the vests worked. In 1930s London, some families hung baby cages outside apartment windows. Suspended above the street, babies napped in the sun, like birds in a coop. In 1967, officials tried to drag Katherine Switzer off the Boston Marathon track. They'd just realized a woman was running. She finished anyway, making history. The only man who refused to raise his arm in the Nazi salute. 1936. The first morning after Sweden switched from left side to right side driving, 1967. German soldiers reacting to footage from concentration camps, 1945. A same-sex couple, Paris, 1932. In 1920, bathing suits weren't allowed to be more than 6 inches above the knee. Ladies invite gentlemen to the white dance. 1900. Why white? White meant pure, clear, spotless. At Viennese balls in the 19th century, the white dance was originally called the women's dance. From this tradition comes the slow dance where the lady chooses her partner. A warehouse stacked to the ceiling with victims' shoes. Auschwitz, Poland, 1944. The 1918 Spanish flu pandemic claimed about 100 million lives worldwide. This photo looks ordinary but shows how terrified people were. They tried to live normally, but with serious precautions. Sound familiar? 100,000 Iranian women protesting mandatory hijab laws. Tehran, 1979. Survivors of the infamous 1972 Andes plane crash. Passengers resorted to cannibalism to survive 72 days in the snowy mountains. A fire truck in Washington, 1922. Men and horses worked together to fight fires. In Australia, until the 1960s, Aboriginal people were legally classified as animals, counted alongside kangaroos and parrots under the Flora and Fauna Act. Girls paint glowing numbers on clock faces with radioactive paint. Many later died of cancer. 1922. Auction and Negro Sales, a store where slaves were sold. Atlanta, 1864. A man selling mummies in Egypt. Thank you for watching until the end. If you enjoyed this, leave a comment, like, and subscribe. See you next time.